Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you all made it to the end of the week. Hey, Miss Valerie, how are you? Hope you all made it to the end of the week. Hey, Janan. Without too much difficulty heat-wise or otherwise, and have some fun plans for the weekend, including hopefully some making for everybody. Caitlin, Kara, I'm gonna see if I can grab. Let's see. We'll see when they pop in. Hey, Caitlin. There's Nancy. Here shortly. Hey, Nancy.
Hello. Oh my gosh. Now, this is bizarre. I wonder if I can get you on my computer.
Sure. If you want to try that, if you want to.
Yeah, let me.
Yeah, I think you have to just exit out of the live and then come back. But take your time. Don't worry. Kacey, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Good. Well, thank you. Nancy's getting on her, switching from her phone to her computer. So I guess while we hello, Needles at the Ready Pod. Hey, Cassie. I will just give everyone a little bit of the preamble if you are new to me, since we hopefully have some followers from both Kacey and Nancy joining. My name's Gary. I am a knitter and a crocheter. I also am a cyclist and fundraiser for AIDS Life Cycle, which is an annual 7-day, 545-mile bike ride from San Francisco to LA, which funds the work of the San Francisco AIDS Foundation and the Los Angeles LGBT Center. For the past 3 years, for part of my fundraising, I've run a series of knitalongs and crochet-alongs, and we've had a ton of fun. I've met a ton of new designers and dyers. The way it works is we team up dyers and designers to come up with a project. It could be a new pattern, it could be existing pattern. We work out the colors, and then we do the knitalong and the crochet-along portions of the pattern sales and kit sales, or entry tickets go towards my fundraising, and there are prizes and Zooms along the way, so it's a lot of fun. But this is the third season. This is the kickoff. We start every fall when they open up the fundraising for AIDS Life Cycle, and it's the biggest one that I've ever done. I said the other day when I was making, I have 5 designers and 5 dyers. There are 7 projects. We're going big, but we're going small with the project. So it's all accessories, which I'm so excited about because I think they will be nice little bite-sized. There we are, right side up. Those fun little bite-sized projects, because I know in the fall folks are, coming back from summer and getting into knitting projects, and there's a ton of big knitalongs, and bohi-alongs, and all of those things. So I thought accessories would be fun because, at least for me, I always like to have at least a couple of little grab-and-go projects that take in the car, take on a plane, or whatever. They're not massive blankets that I can't carry with. So I thought that would be a fun way to do it. And I'm so excited because truly, truly dream team here for me. These 2 makers are people that I have been following and obsessed with for probably since I really got back into knitting a few years ago. So I'm so happy to be joined by Nancy Alfs from the color sorceress behind Trilogy Yarns, and Kacey Hurley from AKA Kacey Knits on Instagram and all the places. So I'm thrilled that all the stars aligned and we were able to put these two makers together. Before we get into the project and the colors and the yarn and all the fun stuff, I always like to sort of get a little fiber origin story from everyone. And so maybe Nancy, we can kick it off with you. Just sort of, how did you get into how did you get into dyeing? Did you come through the making, or was this just something right off the bat, and kind of how long you've been doing it, etc.?
Well, to start with, I never dyed with Kool-Aid.
You were the first. You're the first person to
that out there.
I said Kool-Aid needs to start marketing that, but okay, great.
I know, yeah. So no, I never dyed with Kool-Aid. I've always been a fiber person. I started knitting when I think I was probably in the 3rd or 4th grade. I had a grandmother that was a prolific knitter, and my mother, and so I just kind of fell into the steps. So I have always played with any kind of fiber art. But as far as dyeing, I just kind of fell into it. Before my husband got ill, he was a general contractor and worked a lot with tile. I'm going to make this a real quick backstory. And he got ill and could no longer do his job. And I would sit and knit, and he said, "Oh, I think I want to do that. I think I want to learn to do that." So he was the one that when we were going to a yarn store, he'd get the baskets. The ladies that were there were knitting, couldn't believe it. I swear, he passed away about 6 years ago. But when he passed away, his stash was bigger than mine. And at one point, he had said, "Let's dye. Let's dye some yarn. That would be fun." So after he passed away, I had to get a day job because I was supporting grandchildren, raising grandchildren. And one day I thought, I want to dye. He had so much fun in dyeing the yarns that it was to me just like the next step. And this was just before COVID. So when COVID hit, I found I was home a lot, and I thought, okay, I'm going to really ramp up this dyeing, and I'm going to take it full time. And I did, and it has been a very good decision. But I swear, with each skein of yarn that I dye, he's there guiding me along the way. So, yeah, it's just a little bit of him is in every skein.
I mean, that's a great story and a way to honor his memory, and something that was so important to him. Continuing that on, and I have to. Yeah. I'm gonna brag on both of you. But I just have to say, if you're not following Nancy and you haven't checked out, she has 3 of my all-time favorite yarn colors ever. Sexy Cowboy, Llamas in Drag, and her whiskey for a tonal kind of gold color is just absolutely beautiful, beautiful colorway. So I said before, I think I said somewhere where I think we were on something together, that I treated myself to your Broadway club kit for a year for my birthday, because I'm a huge, in fact I saw Into the Woods last night, but I'm a huge musical theater fan, and so it was just a really fun thing. And we can come back and talk about colors and kits in a minute, but I want to get Kacey in here, who also I know dyes yarn, but I know you primarily as a designer. I'll start with the bragging, because Perfectionist Trap, Leftover City Cowl, 2 of the, I think all-time goats in terms of pattern design. So, how did you come into the designing part of what you do?
Yeah, so I learned to crochet and to knit when I was about 5 years old. My grandma taught me both, and crocheting actually stuck with me first. So I crocheted exclusively almost exclusively for the first 10 years or so of my crafting journey. And then in high school, or early in high school, a good friend of mine, reminded me that knitting existed. And I was like, oh, okay, we can do this. And since then, I have not stopped knitting. But in the growth of my fiber journey, I didn't know what patterns were, so I just improvised. And my grandma taught me to improvise what we made. And especially with crochet, it's a little easier to free form and kind of, do what you want with it, I guess. So we always just improvised our makes, and then my friends all really wanted their own mittens or hats or whatever I made and wore to school. And I would always tell them, I'd rather teach you how to make it than make it for you. And no one really ever took me up on that. But I realized, even before I knew what patterns were, that that's what I want to do. I want to empower people to make their own things and be really proud of that feeling when somebody compliments you and you're like, thanks, I made it. You know, like that's I live for that moment. So yeah, I was a full-time store manager, retail career, 20 years, and got laid off really unexpectedly in 2019. And yeah, decided that it was time to try the thing that I've wanted to do my entire life. And started with the perfectionist trap, came out really strong, and yeah, now here I am, almost 4 years later, and 42 patterns, I think.
Wow.
And yeah, lots of fun collaborations coming up, and lots of, now I dye my own yarn also, and just kind of rolling with the fiber arts.
That's fantastic. I get the question frequently about designing. I did dye once upon a time with Kool-Aid, like way back in like early 2000s in my apartment, and as much fun as I think dyeing would be, I know it would end in divorce. I think for me, it would just be like one, there'd be like one more thing that's coming into the house related to yarn. But designing is something that it's sort of percolating in the back of my head. So hopefully, I have a couple things that may happen here in the next little bit that may get that jump started. So that could be kind of fun. Well, let's talk about this the design. You, I have it here up on my thing. So you love cowls.
I love cowls.
A lot of your patterns are cowls, and so we decided to go with one of your existing cowl patterns. I'm just going to show it, and maybe you can talk about, I have a couple questions, but you can talk about sort of the inspiration. It's called the Palm Springs cowl. I'm going to show it in one color, and then I'll flip to one that shows it's a two-color cowl. It shows both colors in reverse, so you can kind of get the idea. But here we go. So how did this come about, and sort of when is this sort of within your design career, and kind of how did it come about?
So Palm Springs cowl was born out of, honestly, playing with charting software. I had just gotten new charting software, and I really loved the idea of negative space in color work and the balance between like the color work and the background. And I also am very obsessed with designing patterns that pretty much any level of knitter can approach and feel accomplished making. So all of my color work had floats that are short enough that you don't have to catch your floats. This one in particular is mirrored, so it's a shorter repeat and it's mirrored. So you get into a rhythm with it, and it's easy to memorize the repeats as you're going. So like my testers all loved that they could put the chart down and just read the knitting and work from the work rather than having to check the chart back and forth constantly. So yeah, it was really born out of the creation of this chart, and it was named Palm Springs Cowl because I worked on it in Palm Springs, and I asked the community what I should name it, and so many different names came out, and somebody said, why don't you just call it Palm Springs Cowl? I was like, that is brilliant. So that's why it's called Palm Springs Cowl.
Hey, it's sometimes just the most straightforward way is the way to go. I'm gonna put it down for a second. So it is first of all, it's the very first stranded color work that we're going to be doing, and that's not something I can't remember if I've ever done it. So I'm really excited. Because I treat these things as like ways for me to learn new techniques when the patterns come. So I'm excited to do that. But what I also love about it, and this kind of will get into bring it over to Nancy. So it's a sport weight cowl, 2 colors, but you, because of the ratios, you basically get 2 cowls out of 200 gram skeins of yarn. You get one, and then you get the reverse, the negative of it, basically. Which I love the efficiency of using the bulk of two skeins of yarn and be able to get two colors out of it. So Nancy, why don't we talk about the colors choices that you made to from your palette to do for the kits?
Sure. So going into the fall season, I wanted to do something that was a good fall neutral, and keep it unisex, so everybody can enjoy it. And going back to the sport weight, I love my sport weight yarn. Um, it's a very bouncy yarn, and each skeins has 328 yards and 100-gram put up. So there's plenty of yarn to do both. So the colors that I have chosen are Eggplant and Sand Dune.
It's a little blurry, but we're getting so the eggplant. I mean, as the name implies, it's sort of a tonal eggplant.
Right. It's just kind of a really deep purple. And then the sand dune is just a good neutral color. So those are the two colors. And so these would be good both for the negative space one or the non-negative space, as Kelsey calls it. So these are the colors that I did knit it. Yes.
I would say it's the purple or the eggplant is the main color.
Right.
Of how it turned out.
So here it is. Yes. And it was a very quick knit. I started this, Gary and I talked Wednesday night. Okay. I started it Thursday. No, we talked Tuesday night. I started it Wednesday and blocked it today. And it was like Kelsey said, it was such an easy knit. I can show you the floats in the back. So, just a real fun.
I'm very excited because I think I really love the idea of having for someone who hasn't done stranded color work, something that they can feel like really accomplished doing. For someone who's a pro, apparently Nancy is, because she sped through this thing in about 25 minutes, this thing up. But it's something that is a fun knit because it's for those folks it'll be probably TV type knitting. For me, it will probably require some concentration. But I'm getting I already ordered my yarn from Nancy, so I'm gonna hopefully over the next week or so, because I will assure you it is not going to come together as fast as it did for Nancy. But I have a trip to Seattle where I'm going to see Kacey at Flock Fiber Festival, and hopefully on the plane trip up there, I will be able to get some of that done. So hopefully the next week or so I'll be able to show samples of it in the reverse of those two colors. But I think it's going to look great either way. I was. We had a couple of color options, but I was so excited that we went with the eggplant because purple is one of my favorites, and I think it's, like you said, I think it's a really easy color combination to wear. It works autumnally, but it's not like leaf, maple leaf color, kind of color, so it doesn't read entirely autumnal. So I'm really excited about the colorways, and we talked about being able to get two from the one, and I mentioned this on all of these lives that I'm doing. In addition to the Knitalong crochet along thing that is going to run from September 1st to October 31st, so we always do it for 2 months. But it is simultaneously with that, and the details of this are going to come out once I get all these announcements made. I'm going to be running an accessories drive for Knit the Rainbow. So the idea being you can help me with my fundraising with the Knitalong Crochet Along if you have extras of whatever we're making for that, or you just feel inspired to. We're going to then try to get a bunch of donations made over the whole fourth quarter to Knit the Rainbow. For those of you who don't know, an organization that collects and then distributes handmade, hand knit and crochet accessories for LGBTQ homeless youth in New York, Chicago, and Detroit right now. So that, again, that's one of the things I love about having the two-in-one, two for project is, you keep one for yourself, and then you can just make the second one to as a donation. So let's talk about the logistics a little bit. The yarn kits, Nancy, I saw they're already up on your website.
That is correct. I put them up today. And so for the Knitalong, I've created a separate tab on the website, and normally the skeins are 30 a piece. I'm offering the kit at 55 for the 2 skeins, and then I will be donating the shipping cost. So I will the customer pays for shipping, but I will turn around and donate that money.
And they're getting a bargain off the regular.
Yeah. And they're getting a bargain on the yarn.
So that's I see. It's right at the top of the TrilogyYarn.com website. So it's up for pre-order now. How long are you going to keep the pre-order open to make sure that folks get it in time for, or what is a good?
I can probably keep it going up till the 3rd week of August. My turnaround time for yarn is pretty fast.
Most of the we're kind of, I think most people are saying sort of the 15th to the 17th, mid. As long as you get your orders in by then, Nancy's gonna have time to get it dyed up, get it out to you in order for cast on. But as I always say, if you don't get it exactly like cast done, do not panic. That's one of the reasons we do these things for 2 months, is so there's no great rush to try to get this done, because the last thing I want out of any of this for anybody is stress. So we should. Oh, yes.
Orders are coming in as we speak.
Thank you. And Kacey, the pattern is up on Ravelry right now. It is $7, but all of your patterns are buy 2 get 1 free. So
always.
I
said always. And real quick.
Yes.
If we need a refresher on color work, if anyone has not done color work yet, my Leftover City cowl is the perfect primer for doing stranded color work.
Oh, nice.
So if you're on there looking at buy 2 get 1 free, that's a good one.
I already mentioned the 2 that I'm getting for I'm getting. One of them will be the free one, but that also is a fantastic scrappy. I mean, great use of scraps. That leftover. I mean, it's right there in the name. So the Leftover City cowl. So that's a great. That's a great one to do as well. And I mean, the colors you should have, the colors that was just absolutely. So those will be available now. In terms of from my end, the logistics on the entry ticket for this. So that's how the fundraising piece happens. It's up on my coffee page right now. It's $3. Ideally, it's not something I police in terms of, ideally, if you're going to be participating in multiple projects, I would buy a separate ticket for that. Do whatever your conscience leads you to do. But that's how you get entered into the giveaways during the event. In terms of just the giveaways, how it runs, we do 5 rounds. I reward participation more than completion. So most of the giveaways are for whips. We have a round for FOs at the end, but we'll do one the first week right after we've all cast on. We'll do one at halftime, and then we do 3 rounds, at the end. So there's hashtags. All of this is linked in my bio. There's an FAQ that has all the details, links to all the patterns as they become available. Get that. You can get all that information there. I will also. Oh, we lost Kacey. We'll see if we can get her back. I'm also going to post this video. It'll be on my Instagram grid, but I'm also going to post it over on YouTube so folks can go back and watch it at their leisure. And once all the announcements have been made, I'm going to do a short little mini YouTube episode, just kind of walking through each of the patterns and kits and all that stuff. So there'll be plenty. All the information will be available to you, at your leisure. So Nancy, I was going to ask Kacey, and she'll come back on. But what? Anything else you've got going on this fall in terms of shows or new colorways?
Oh my gosh, yes, yes, and yes. Currently, I am one of the featured dyers at the Chicago Yarn Crawl. So if you want to see some colorways that aren't in my shop, head on over to Sister Arts Studio. I also have a truck show going on in
Oh,
Avon, Connecticut for people who want to that live in that area. And starting next Friday, I am a featured dyer for the Great Tennessee Yarn Tour. And I have done an exclusive colorway for the yarn shop Maryville Yarn
okay.
Hook and Needle in Maryville, Tennessee, called Summer in the Smokies. That is absolutely gorgeous. And actually, this is my, as far as me personally, this is my slow season. But starting this the weekend after Labor Day, I have a trunk show, an in-person trunk show, I believe every weekend through the second week of December. And then I'll be down for 6 weeks. I'm having a shoulder joint replaced, which is my another slow season. So yeah, but if anybody out there wants to see Trilogy Yarn Trunk Show in their local
Is it
store, reach out to me and I'll
show
contact
schedule? I
them.
should know, but is it up on your website or? Okay.
You know, it is not, and I really need to
Yeah.
to create an event tab, and I think about that at least once a week. If I had a secretary, it would be so much easier. But I do need to put it on the website because
Right.
I do a lot of trunk shows. I will be having some new colorways coming out in the fall, and I just launched a new club, the Grocery Girls. No, I'm sorry, the Golden Girls. The Grocery Girls would love that. No, the Golden Girls Sock Club I have just launched too. So if there's sock knitters out there, and if you're Golden Girls fans, I've sent the first shipment out. The next shipment will be going out in about 10 days. So that's a fun sock club, and
I
all
want
the
to come back
details are on
to
the
you on
website.
advent calendars in just a second. I know you got some exciting
Yes.
things going on there. But Kacey, I just wanted to get. I know you got personally like a big move coming up. But are there other things that you? I know we're going to see each other at Flock, but are there other things that you have going on in terms of places you'll be and new designs? I know you just released a new design, yeah.
So I have a brand new design. It actually comes out August 1st.
Okay.
It's a collaboration with Jimmy Bean's Wool, and I am very excited. They are coming out with a brand new sustainable yarn line called Yarn Citizen, and I was one of the designers in their very first collection featuring this brand new yarn line.
Oh wow.
So I'm really proud. I'm really honored to be part of this group. It's a really great group of designers. And so yeah, that comes out August 1st, and I'm really excited. It's a one skein lace, perfectionist trap shape, asymmetrical triangle, but really simple lace pattern, easy to knit, but it looks really complicated. Kind of my jam. And yeah, I'll be at Flock Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, I'll be at Sarah Sea Change Fibers booth from 1 to 2 on the Saturday at Flock. But I'll be floating around all weekend, so please, if you see me, say hi, hug me, attack me, whatever you need to do, come find me. And then I am going to Dallas Fort Worth Fiber Festival in September. I'll be there all weekend, hanging out with Brittany of Monster Stitches. I'm really excited for that. And then I'll be at Rhinebeck hanging out, Woolen Folk, India Untangled, Cakapalooza, and Rhinebeck.
I will see you in all of those places. Nancy did that tour last year, I know, with Kevin and Ray and those guys, but this is my first time, so I'm like super jazzed for these.
Oh,
yeah,
it's a fun event.
So what's the name of the new pattern?
So the new pattern that comes out on the 1st is called Lost Horse.
Lost Horse.
Lost Horse, yeah.
Is it going to be available just through Jimmy Beans as part of the collection, or is it okay?
Nope, it'll be on Ravelry, its own freestanding pattern. It'll also be in my Etsy store for those who can't use Ravelry.
Okay.
It just won't be linked on Etsy to the collection, but on Ravelry it'll all be linked together, so you can see all the patterns.
Fantastic. Okay, so Advent calendar, yarn calendars from Trilogy Yarn. What's still available?
So the Halloween Advents are still available. They're going to be available for 2 more weeks. We have already started dyeing up the minis, so I have multiple drying racks scattered throughout my house with some really fun colors, and I've been in the process of ordering some really fun goodies this year for that. And that one is going to be based on classic Halloween movies. So if you like Psycho, if you like Dracula, Beetlejuice,
Okay.
Bride of Frankenstein, this is your jam. So I do have those. And then the holiday advents are still available for pre-order. I will probably have those available till about
Okay.
mid-October. Uh, this year's theme is just some, um, it doesn't have a theme. I usually do like a movie or a show theme. This year, I'm just taking inspiration from some really soft winter photos. So it's going to be totally different. The Halloween is 14 mini skeins and a full 100-gram skein, and the holiday one is 24 minis, a full 100-gram skein for day 25. And this year, I'm offering it on 3 bases. So I'm offering it on an 80-20 fingering, a fingering with a silver stellina, and also a DK weight. So this year you've got your choice of base. So I had to, up my game a little bit because I was finding I had an extra hour to sleep. So I had to throw in
Luckily, I know
another
a
couple of
designer who has a
wrenches.
lot
But
of
yes,
patterns that can use mini skeins for for colorwork.
yes. It would be
There,
fun to do a
there.
collaboration for something like that because in the past I have had people do patterns for me. I don't have one this year for the holiday, and I know it's kind of late, but maybe we could talk
Also,
next year.
it seems like it's. I mean, these advents have kind of become like a whole little cottage industry between the yarn side of things, and then I think just even outside of people collaborating, just people know they're coming. They're like, I could make let's put together a pattern that can take 12 to 24 mini skeins and make them. I think it's really cool because I'm one of those people that sort of I love the idea of the mini skeins, but then I'm always struggling with what do I do with them? But I'm always thrilled to see these patterns that kind of incorporate.
Right, and I always say when I've shipped the last advent out, it's like never again, and usually within about 2 weeks, I'm already thinking for next year's advent because you do have to plan. Just even to buy all the little extra goodies that go in there. It's
my
shipment
sense is
today
just
of
having
stuff. So it's
seen
just
your club over time is you love sort of have a theme. You love a theme and like being able to play within that theme and sort of incorporate and you do a fantastic job of it. So it's I can see how it could be fun, but I hear you on dealing with those many like just so.
Yeah. When it's Advent season, every room in my house has got tubs of minis and boxes
and
of
for the
stuff
Halloween
to go
Advent,
out.
it must
So
be like a crime scene if it's all of these horror movies. It must be like
yeah, there's a lot of kind of weird stuff here, right, that I'm getting. Yes, and just a little teaser. They may or may not be yarns that will be glowing under a black light, but just a teaser.
Yeah,
So.
I love the ones when I've gotten them, and it's just like one of those like it's just a fun little surprise. Like, when you
It is
want
a
like
fun surprise.
some of these shows, people have the lights in the booth, and sometimes you walk by and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know the shawl I was wearing. Yeah.
Glowing.
Is there anything from either from the kits and the knit along, the crochet along, or anything from things that you guys are doing that I've missed that you'd like to cover, or I can just quickly recap for everyone before we sign off. The kits for the Palm Springs owl are available right now on Trilogy Yarns Trilogy Yarn.com. Sorry. It is on Nancy's Sportacular base. It is 2 skeins. One is Eggplant, one is Sand Dune. And with those 2 skeins, you will have enough yarn to make 2 of the palm strings in mirror image, reverse negative of each other.
Here's
Oh wow!
here's what I have left over.
Yeah.
So see,
Yeah,
there's quite a bit.
And I will put in the FAQ document the exact grams and from the pattern. I think it was like, it's like 60 something of one color and 20 of the other. So you definitely have enough to get both of those, and probably still have some scraps for your leftover city cowl or some other.
Exactly.
The Palm Springs cowl is available currently on Ravelry in Kacey's Ravelry shop, and I guess on your Etsy store as well. If you don't have access to Ravelry, $7. But all of her patterns are buy 2 get 1 free, so definitely make use of that thing. In terms of the fundraising side, Nancy is generously donating the shipping costs for kits through the AIDS life cycle, and then the entry ticket for the cowl, which is $3 on my coffee page, is will get donated 100% as always to AIDS life cycle. Passed on is September 1st. And I'm really, really excited about this project. I can't thank you both enough for raising your hands and jumping in. I really think we've got a great match in terms of pattern and colorways and the yarn. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I will see Kacey. I will see you in next week. And Nancy, thank you so much for coming on, and good luck with all the Trump shows you've got coming up. I'll talk to everyone soon.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Gary. Bye, Nancy.
Bye.